Hey, welcome back to Ruffstuff podcast number 4. My name is Garrett, and I also have Mallory here.
Hi.
And our guests today are Steven and Nick. Hey, guys.
Howdy. What's going
on? So, Steven, why don't you explain what you do here for Ruffstuff?
Well, I do the purchasing and importing and sourcing. It's quite an entertaining job. It's definitely exciting and never a dull moment.
Yeah.
How long have you been with us?
Maybe
8 years?
7 or 8 years, somewhere in there.
About 8.
Time flies.
What shop did you originally start in, and what was your position?
Here, I don't know. I mean, I kind of used to just run errands.
You started at Rancho, right?
Yeah, back in the Rancho days.
I remember you just using the chop saw.
Yeah, I was like chop saw master. You know what I mean? You needed that stuff cut or, trash taken out.
Can you describe the Rancho shop, a.k.a. the cave?
You kind of had to do a lot of sidewalking, and definitely you got to suck in the chest to get through a few of the spots in there.
Tightly.
Yeah, it was amazing the stuff that was packed into that place for sure. You never would have thought there was like 19 cars in there.
Do you guys have any photos of that place too? I can't find any of my photos.
I don't have any photos.
Before camera phones.
Yeah, that thing.
You had to bring out your digital camera.
I had like a Razor phone back then.
I think I had a Razor
pictures.
I think it was on my Razor phone too. I remember having pictures of stuff we did back then, but
we just have to keep the memory alive through stories.
For sure.
I just remember it was he built an upstairs thing, and
don't wear clean clothes in there. I knew that much.
I know.
If you showed up trying to go on a date, I'm gonna get these parts and then I'm gonna meet a chick, it was not happening.
I know. He always gives me a hard time. Dan does about when I did go in there and if I wore white that I was curled up like this. Thank you. It was filthy.
It was kind of definitely. Yeah. I guess your average metal shop, that just didn't get cleaned.
Yeah, I'm sure we didn't have a broom,
No. And everything was done in one area. So it's not where the warehouse is much tidier and then you go into the machining and the welding area and it's metal shavings. Everything was done in one area.
Yeah, there was a desk that was the sales / shipping / sorting. It was pretty much everything. The break table. It was
yeah, it was one table, right, with all the dividers on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember just walking in and hey Dan, just walk beeline to Dan. Hey, I need this, and then it was yeah, cool. And then you always showed up with Diet Pepsi,
Diet Coke,
Diet Coke, yeah, Diet Coke, and a pack of cigarettes,
Marlboro Lights,
and he was that was
you must
to
have
sweeten
been a
them up.
Favorite customer.
Well, you brought that to butter them up, and then you were I need this and this, and then it was.
It's true.
It always helped.
The nice thing about that shop is Dan was always there.
Yeah.
Sunday through Saturday, Monday through Friday. He was there all the time, anytime, and he would answer his phone anytime.
Oh, yeah.
He would answer the door anytime.
His customer service was 100 for sure. But that dude's a savage. I mean, I remember I brought my Land Cruiser by one night, and that guy put on a welding hood and welded some shit on that thing at I don't know, almost 1 a.m. We were drinking beers, and I was well, I got to try this. And he's I'll just do it. And no bullshit, he took Jay Wyatt's welding helmet, I think, and put this cross member thing on my Toyota, and away I went, at 2:30 in the morning. Crazy stuff, trying to go. The things you do when you're going wheeling.
That's Dan, though. He's always been so committed and helpful and generous. He really will, stop what he's doing to help any day of the week, anytime. And I think that's what helped build Ruffstuff and the Ruffstuff name.
Yeah, and the customer service. Yeah, everyone really likes Dan.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, he was the only. I mean, when I was dealing with you guys in the beginning, it was. That's all it was Dan, and you went in there and you talked to him and you brought him cigarettes and some soda, and he'd hook you up, and so it was. He was always nice to me. He always took care of his customers.
I think every customer that came in, he genuinely considered a friend. He remembered names and things like that. It definitely really helped build the brand that we have today. And a lot of longtime customers, which we're super grateful for.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about the people that, the phone conversations back in the Rancho days to people who now compete against you in this business. It's so crazy.
Well, speaking of phone call, even at the Swetzer shop, Dan would sit on the phone with a customer for 45 minutes talking either off-road or not about off-road at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And he just had the time to just chat with these people. People, you know, when we tried to transition from Dan to a sales team, it was like, no, I want to talk. Oh, they only want to talk to Dan.
Yeah,
That
it was
was
like,
a
press
long-
4 for Dan.
That,
That
was a
line
long
would have been on fire.
That was a long transition.
It
Like,
was
yeah.
people still call and ask
Yeah.
for Dan. We still get DMs occasionally on
Yeah.
Facebook or Instagram, like, "Hey, can you ask Dan this?" or "Hey, Dan." They just approach, "Hey, Dan."
Yeah. The problem is we'd change so many things. He would just make mistakes and cause problems.
Oh, yeah.
I think,
Oh, yeah.
I think it's
Well, he
funny.
cared too much. That's the
Yeah.
problem. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, which is not a bad thing, but
Well, he wouldn't even
You know.
use like the system properly.
That's
So like
exactly-
there would be like weird part numbers in, or like a weird note, like
He'd
add this,
freestyle
and we're
it.
like, well, what's this mean? Like, do we have to, so we have to call
It's
the
like, I don't
customer back
remember.
and be like, what's this actually?
Oh, right, in Chipworks or whatever. I
just
know.
yeah, just every like
It's funny when people message us and they're like, "Hi, Dan," and they think they're going to talk to Dan, because just the other day we asked him if he saw a post on Instagram or something. He's like, "No, I don't even know what our Instagram handle is." Like, it's Ruffstuff Specialties.
that's fresh.
Yeah, he says he doesn't know how to use it, but, you know, he does.
I don't know. He said something about Pinterest the other day, so I'm sure he's on it.
Oh, he loves Pinterest because he wants to build an entirely timber framed home. So he's got on this Pinterest kick and he's got a board. You should ask him to see it. He would love to show you.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to give him a bad
he's
time
about to.
this.
We were talking about like I think he brought up like a juicer the other day, and so
I just think of that crazy commercial with that old dude.
Oh, Jack LaLanne, or
Yes,
whatever, the Jack LaLanne
yes,
juicer, and he's like
yes,
105,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, he's rollerblading.
Still partying hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mallory had bought one like years ago, and we like barely used it. We're like, this thing sucks.
It's
like,
the worst to clean.
Yeah, it sucks. It's a pain in the butt, and we're just like, whatever. We'll just eat whatever we normally eat. And so I told Dan, I'm like, I don't even want this thing. And he's been texting me every day
To bring it.
to bring it. Yeah,
Wait, what got
That's
him
hella
on the
funny.
kick to juice?
I have no idea.
He didn't tell you he saw like a documentary.
He's going to try to put like a fish through it or something.
Yeah,
I caught this trout.
just fish juice.
No, he's gonna bring us a juice. What flavor is it? Oh, it's romaine and trout.
Yeah, it's soy chai trout.
Yeah. I just can't imagine. It has so many parts and it's very intricate that he's not gonna like it.
Yeah, it's a pain.
That's awesome though. Way to go,
Yeah,
the
it's
juice
funny.
man. You know, he needs.
I guess he's trying to get on a health. He's on a health kick.
Do you
maybe?
picture Dan walking around with a green juice in his hand?
Yeah, it's called a frozen Mountain Dew Slurpee.
Yeah. He does love his Slurpees.
Although actually, I don't think he does the Mountain Dew one anymore. I think it's all the Coke one, maybe.
Yeah,
I
he
think
likes
it's
just
the
like,
Coke,
sometimes
yeah.
maybe he mixes a nice cherry and
Just
go.
the cherry. Yeah, he likes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember having so when you're using the chop saw, you'd have to like do it in between like phone calls?
Yep.
Yeah.
Someone would be like, it would be like one of the you or one of the twins would be like, "Hey, stop it!" Or you like try to hit something on the wall.
Dan always does like the like arms over his head, like
The
waving at you.
SOS.
Yeah, SOS. Yeah.
I do remember that. It'd be
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
But that was like back in the cell phone days too. I remember he'd get so it would be like, I think back in the Rancho days, it would be like 10 orders a day or something, and everyone was like doing backflips. It was crazy. You know, now it's like 10 orders in 30 minutes or everyone's out of here. You know?
Yeah.
We're in trouble. You guys better leave. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy how it's evolved.
And you were around when we moved over to Swetzer, and then we moved next door to that shop. You were
Yes.
there for all of that.
Yeah, no, I
was just
missed some of
looking-
those
I was over on
moves.
Swetzer about 10 minutes ago looking for this.
You didn't know we moved?
I knew, but I was like, oh, they moved farther down. And I'm
Yeah.
like riding around. I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah, I know. Literally, it is just directly across from where we're sitting across the train tracks, isn't it?
Pretty
It's
much.
about
yeah.
the same.
The brewery actually is like right over here. Before they built the fence, we used to just walk over the train tracks here.
Yeah,
Now
they
they built a
purposely did that.
fence.
too.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, the old days in Rancho and then Swetzer was pretty neat with the both sides. How like he took over both buildings at one point, or kind of
Cut the hole.
Yeah, because there
Yeah.
was like three or four different buildings that he had rented plus a container. By the time I
Did
guess
we have a container?
yeah, we had a storage container too. Because I know I used to put my Land Cruiser in there. I rented that for like $30 a month.
Was
or
that
something.
around the back corner?
No, I think it used to be like where the bathroom was.
Oh, okay.
Where the bathrooms were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was a couple containers there.
Yeah, I think me
remember
and
that.
Jeff used to like rent a container from him or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Just to store some stuff.
Yeah, it was nice. I just leave my Toyota in there and just pick it up when I needed it. It was
Totally
it was
forgot
great.
about that. That's
Yeah.
funny.
But that was crazy because I mean, all they have these like upstairs lofts, and it was just nuts.
That was the first sweatshirt.
Yeah, there was like some crazy office upstairs.
Yeah, with the spiral staircase.
Yeah, spiral staircase and like some crazy like door thing or something. I guess it was a crazy like iron company.
That's where I
I used to work there.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
'cause there was a door or something that was outrageous. Just like, what is that doing up here? Like,
Yeah. I worked there before Ruffstuff doing like ornamental ironwork, and then that's how we got the shop because I knew that.
Was that with Eric?
Yeah, with Eric. Yeah.
I forgot about it.
Yes, Old Fields. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good times.
That was a fun time at Swetzer because we were growing so fast. It was like stressful, but it was really cool to, I don't know, now we have to walk way further to get anywhere, to do anything. But before we were all in this tight, tiny area.
You know how Dan used to like just yell kind of for no reason, like you kind of became numb to it. And when I was welding, I was in like a normal office chair, heater behind me in the wintertime, and I'm welding, and as I'm welding, I kind of would turn my chair to rotate like around the diff ring there, and I hear Dan yelling and screaming. I'm like, I'm not gonna like stop in the middle of this weld. Like, there's no reason to, you know. And so I finished the weld, and I pop my hood up, super casual, and like my whole chair is on fire from the heater. It's like 2 feet, 3 feet over my head. It was pretty funny.
I've definitely seen a few chairs catch on fire here over the years.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I wish those fire extinguishers didn't make such a bad mess, I tell you.
Yeah. I don't even think I used an extinguisher. I think I just put like a welding blanket, like patted it out or put a blanket on or something, you know.
I've seen it twice over here, and it's like,
So
man,
have I.
what a mess.
There was one we caught on our security cameras like a couple years ago.
That's
that was
rad.
good.
I always forget about that. The security camera probably has some gold footage with people falling and just
One of
random
the funniest
dumb
ones
shit
I saw
happening.
was like one of the guys backing up on a forklift. I think it was Ty. And he's backing up and he's looking over his shoulder. Well, the forks are kind of high. And he hits, like he grabs like an extension cord, like one of the reels, and it's just reeling out. And so it goes for like 30 feet or whatever it was. And as soon as he's already picked up speed by then, and by the time he hits it, the whole thing just rips off the freaking roof. Or
I remember
off the
that.
beam,
Yeah, it was
and
stuck
just
to the forklift.
and it just flies across the room. It was pretty funny.
That's rad. Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely been some funny moments there for sure.
I don't know what happened to those. I need to get those back. Did you work originally just to like for trade?
Yeah, I actually just worked for money to go get tore up on the weekends. I'd hit them up on like Thursdays and Fridays, and then maybe Saturday mornings, and then for parts for my Land Cruiser. It worked out very well.
Right on.
Yeah.
So what positions have you done since that one? Because you were in sales for a really long time. I'm sure some of our listeners might remember you from good old sales days.
I mean, I guess pretty much just sales, really. I've been trying to just do that, and then moved up to the purchasing full time after it was too much to do both. And
Did you start? So you started out doing like the trade stuff back in Rancho. Then you started doing sales, directly sales. Okay.
yeah, I just kind of learned to help everybody out. So I mean, you kind of do everything when the phones aren't ringing, you know.
Did you have to reverse the deals that Dan was doing?
Yeah, you kind of have like a sliding scale almost sometimes on like what to tell them on how to like bring down the discounts, you know, because you'd have to like bring the customer back down to reality, because sometimes they would just assume that, you know, if they didn't hear the right price, they'd call back and ask for him.
Yeah.
It's pretty entertaining.
To field those phone calls.
Yeah, you'd be that guy, you know.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So how do we know Nick, Garrett?
Actually, honestly, where did I meet you back in the day too?
Yeah, I was around back in the Rancho days.
Yeah, I know. So I saw you like at the Rubicon for the trail cleanup with us, but then I'm like looking at you, I'm like, man, I know this dude from somewhere. And then Steven was saying he used to like party with us back in the day, like at the old duplex out there.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah,
you know, yeah. Back in the Rancho days, I used to get a bunch of parts from Dan and go see you, and you'd stack your car full of a little rice rocket full of stuff. Take it.
Oh yeah, you did have a street bike, right?
No, like a Civic.
The Saturn, probably.
Yeah.
Was it the Saturn? Yeah,
You
that
did
Saturn.
have a street bike, but not when you worked at Ruffstuff.
Yeah, I don't think I worked
okay.
at Ruffstuff.
Okay.
It's fresh.
Yeah.
So you
That's
came
where,
out to our trail cleanup recently, and I heard you were giving some really good instructions to some of our staff.
Yeah. Maybe they're great welders and great fabricators. Construction might not be their forte.
He was hustling out there though. Like he just popped in there with the shovel and started just digging out these holes and just getting after it was pretty
Definitely
funny.
qualified labor.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Nick, what do you do?
Currently, I work for Sacramento County,
Oh, okay.
basically digging holes. So
So that's why you're a
That's why
pro.
you're so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty
Makes a lot of sense.
pretty good. You fill up the back of the shovel, the front's always full.
Yeah. How do you know Steven?
Man, I think I heard stories of him when I was a kid.
Oh.
We grew up in the same neighborhood, and he had actually, his family had moved out of the neighborhood, and then I think one of your old employees I worked with before he worked here, and he knew Steven, and we met at his house. And
Richie.
oh yeah,
Oh, Richie. Did you know Ruby? His dog Ruby?
oh yeah,
I loved Ruby. She used to come in every day and get a treat from me.
It's a real treat.
She was so cute.
I don't think he went anywhere without that dog.
Yeah.
So I met Steve finally through him, and then and we just hit it off, and it was wheeling and partying and a lot of nights we don't remember, I guess.
3 of my favorite things. So we wanted to know, since you've known Steven for so long, what can you tell us about him that we might not know? Or that you're allowed to?
Oh man, he's pretty much an open book. I don't think he leaves anything to hide. You guys you spend more time with him than I do, and
That's true.
Yeah.
We didn't know if you had any deep, dark secrets we could hear.
I wouldn't tell him anyway.
We figured.
What kind of friend is that?
We figured. So Steven, how did you, before you started at Ruffstuff, how did you get into off-road?
I guess it was just the cool thing to do. I don't really. I thought all the cars on the street were kind of lame. You know, it's kind of fun to just run stuff over and break things.
Was the Land Cruiser your first rig, or
No, I had a 85 Toyota pickup, but it kind of turned out to be like a good-looking piece of garbage. I had like 4 motors in the first year I had it, so just wasn't really working out. But I was able to sell that and buy this Land Cruiser that was definitely a lot more capable out of the box.
when was that? When did you start doing all that?
Like 99 maybe, somewhere around there. Yeah. Pre Y2K.
Yeah.
Old stuff.
Yeah.
Is it true that Dan used to tell people you rolled it over 200 times?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of it was like he would add 20s to it every time someone would mention it. I know that I've probably personally rolled that thing like a good 20 or more times, and I got many friends that have too. And there's probably a few that won't say anything about them because you just kind of know. But it's all right. It was fun.
And that thing still has the stock motor.
Yeah, a stock motor. It's a straight six still.
Six,
yeah, it's on vacation right now, just hanging out. One day it'll get going again.
What Ruffstuff products do you have on it?
I mean, probably all the universal parts, really, like from shackles to spring hangers. I have that legendary 9.5 diff cover on the back, the elusive one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, steering. Pretty much, I mean, anything that you guys made, I would try to throw at it. So,
Then you had your Ford for a really long time.
yeah, that thing had a diff cover in our steering, and that was pretty nice stuff. It held up well.
That was it a 250?
F350.
F350, and then it had the extra long bed, right?
Yeah, that thing was ridiculously long.
Yeah, people knew you
The bus.
for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And now you have a Razor.
Yeah, I have this Razor, and it definitely makes you think twice about having some of these rock crawlers. It's pretty entertaining, but new chapter in life, I guess.
Dude, when I saw you guys, when we were at the Rubicon waiting, like we were camping, right? And the day you guys, did you guys camp there that night, or did you show up just for the day trip?
Just for the day.
Yeah, so we're camping. I'm waking up, putting my tent together, and I hear this Razor just hauling. And I look over, and all I see is like the gold color.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't even know if that was them. I couldn't even like make out your face. Dude, Lewis was mentioning something about some bolt locker competition you guys had like back in sales. What was that about?
Yes. So me and Lewis and Kevin Betancourt, when he did sales with us for a minute, we all got into this competition for bolt lockers, trying to upsell them because they were just terrible. Like it's not a terrible product, but it was just a lot of work to use it. And in the course of a month, I think between Kevin and Lewis and I think we were able to sell like 600 or 700, and we hadn't been able to sell like 50 in 2 years. It got pretty awesome, but Dan shut us down. He said it was pretty predatory, so he has a conscience with it. So we were just trying to unload product.
What the bolt lockers were are like these, essentially like it looks like a 12-point socket, right?
Yes.
And they would keep like nuts from coming loose on your rig.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we had those for like years and years and years.
Yeah, the sales pitch was kind of awkward because you'd kind of tell the customer that they need to go out and use their vehicle because everything's going to loosen up. And then you pretty much install it like on the trail.
They were super cheap, though, weren't they, too?
Oh,
like,
of course.
Like 20,
yeah.
30 cents or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like
And if they seemed at all interested, we'd always go down a little bit more just to sweeten the deal.
I think eventually I just said, hey, let's just start putting one in every box just to get rid of them, Just,
free ones with link kits. That was my my way of closing them out.
Closing the deal on the link kit.
We're giving you those.
So it didn't matter if you sold it, no matter what, you got rid of it. That's how you won.
No, I mean, it was the selling of the point. After Dan shut us down, we started giving them away. Because, we just, But it was fun.
Gotcha. Nick, how did you get into off-road? With Steven?
No, actually, I was into it before. I grew up down in South Sac, so it was a bunch of, I was in the ghetto, and a bunch of my friends ended up starting getting rigs and going up, and you would hear all these stories about how everybody's having fun at the Rubicon. So I bought an old 80 or 81 pickup and Toyota, and did the old junkyard Chevy leaf spring swap and put the rears up front and beat the living hell out of it, and then did everything to keep that thing on the trail, and ended up buying a chassis from Josh Matson with a motor in it, and then beat the living crap out of that thing as much as possible, and then raced some of that way back when Goodby was doing the first rock races, and he had the sportsman class.
Was that like the stock kind of class thing?
That was like the 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, like.
Yeah, it was pretty old school for sure. He cut that off right away.
Yeah,
I think it was like a season of that madness.
Like no rules, kind of like no, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I definitely went out and put a show on, and just sent it.
What I remember is that Cherokee from, I think it's the WFO guys, right?
Yeah,
I think they've had that thing for years.
Yeah,
those dudes,
and they would just be doing kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah, and then so I did that, and then like destroyed my rig, and I think I was buying some parts from Dan. Dan was like, "You put on a good show. What do you need to race the next one?" And I was like, "Well, my housing's buckled, this and that." So Dan came through and gave me a housing and a bunch of other rough stuff parts, and he's like, "I know you're not going to win, but you're going to put a show on, so just go ahead and have it."
I think I remember that actually. Yeah.
And so I ended up getting it back together and destroying it again, and then I think I had 2 or 3 more trips with it, and I was like, I'm going to link this thing, and bought all the stuff to link it, and then decided to be an adult and buy a house. Once I bought a house, I think went on the side yard on the trailer and sat, and then worked on it. Then it sat, and then I had a kid, and it was like, oh, it's a 2-seater. I need a 3-seater at least, and it went on the old list. Got rid of it, and now my girlfriend has a sweet razor.
Nice.
So I work on that and beat the crap out of that thing.
You guys take your razors out together?
for sure.
Where are some of your guys' favorite places to wheel around here?
Yeah, I usually just go to like a Rubicon or go hit Fordyce for the day.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I really haven't been too many other places. Hit like, Moon Rocks, places like that, but usually need a bigger group.
You've been at the Hammers like the last few years too, right?
Yeah, that's amazing with the Razor. Like I said, that would be fun just to go anytime. I mean, obviously not in the summertime because you'd probably die.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be that is one hell of a place to go rip one of those things.
Have you raced or plan to race?
I do want to race the Hammers, but I don't know, with my kids, they're into this motocross hobby and it's quite expensive. So
there's
we'll
only enough for one person
there,
at a
there
time.
There really is only enough money for one
Yeah.
little show. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what we can do.
Have you seen the videos, Mallory, of like his kids on the dirt bikes?
Yes, I have.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
How old's your son?
I have an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old.
The 3-year-old is like...
Yeah, he's on his little OSET bike, a little trials bike, and he likes to crash that into stuff. And then he's on a PW50 now, but like I said, still a little shaky. So
He has an
not
Instagram,
quite
or
ready.
they have an Instagram page too, right?
Yeah.
What is it so people can check it
Wolf
out?
Bros Racing.
And how do you, is it WOLFF?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And BROS Racing. Okay. You guys should check that out if you want to see some little kids getting
little
after
monsters, little hellions.
Full
Nick's kids are in
send.
it too. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
He's got an army of them too, and
Yeah.
they go out and rip. They race in the same classes. It's pretty fun watching them all.
My girlfriend has 2, and I have 1. Daycare MX, same thing on Instagram. They definitely go out and blow the wallet
Yeah.
at the bank, but it's a different chapter, But it's fun. I have a great time. They have fun. So as long as we can all have a good time, and that's what it's about.
It's a family sport. That's awesome.
It's just crazy to me to see like little kids rallying around dirt tracks,
Especially
like that.
at 3.
Yeah.
You just feel like they're not that capable, and then you see it and you're like, man.
Yeah, you just know it's not going to end well.
Not every time. No. Are there a lot of like tears, or is it more like it's okay, I can get back up and do it again?
I don't know. I mean, it just depends how bad these kids crash. Because like sometimes you can, you almost had it. You're doing great, but sometimes you can tell when they really have had enough.
You do your best to end on a good note.
Because you want to make sure they want to come back, right?
Do one more lap if you took a hard one.
Yeah.
But there's the times where you head home, and there's the times where you just want them to sleep on the way home.
Do you guys take your kids together then, the race, or yeah?
Yeah, we all race the same. All the kids race the same classes. And same races. So, we're at any point we can have 10 kids out there between our whole group.
Yeah, we all kind of just carpool, so it's like it's not too, we need like a bus or something, and just do it right.
When I asked Steven, I was like, I don't know, how long have you and Nick known each other? How close are you? He's like, oh, we're close. We spank each other's kids. I was like, oh, okay. That's how you know you're tight.
Well, we're not raising kids. We're raising adults, they're going to be in our shoes one day, and there's plenty of pieces of shit out there. Let's raise some good ones.
Totally. Amen. What kind of crazy trail stories do you guys have that you want to share? We know you've got some.
What you got, Nick?
Well, let's see. Me and Wolf went up to, what was that? We went up to Fordyce, the zombie party.
Oh, the Rocktoberfest.
Yeah, we went up to Rocktoberfest. And
what year was this? We need to set the tone.
Ooh.
Maybe like 2010.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 4 kids.
Yeah, I'd say about 2010.
Yeah. He was still making the Land Cruiser look pretty. It was after one of the many upgrades of revamps, facelifts of the old Land Cruiser, and we I think we were going up windshield 2, and he slid into a rock and dragged the whole side of the Land Cruiser down a rock. And he gets out. He's like, "Did it hit the chrome? I just want to know if it hit the chrome, the little vent cover on the side." And I'm like, "No, you missed it." And he's like, "Cool." He literally reaches in the back of the Land Cruiser and grabs a can of powder blue spray paint, hits a little touch up, jumps back in, and we're back on it. Ended up losing the wheel, or one of our friends lost a wheel. We had to run out and go get it. We lost a radiator.
Yeah, we just steal one of Goodby's wheels.
Yeah. Lost a radiator. The old egg, learned the egg trick that trip.
Oh, on the radiator.
Yeah, put
What's
an egg
that
in there.
Trick?
So you crack an egg, an uncooked egg, and you put it in the radiator, and it'll get you out
For like a hole in the radiator.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Okay. Interesting.
learned that one. That was a pretty good time. And I think I got smashed, and Steve drove home, and that was it. It was one of the day trips, the elusive run up and wheel, and then come back home and then probably went to the bar after that.
For real. It's hard to park with that trailer.
Yeah, especially the old long Ford.
Yeah, that's rough. Definitely not going to be able to get a preferred spot.
Yeah, that's probably one of my best stories with me and him.
Right on.
How many? Haven't you I remember you telling me that you blew you'd probably blown your rear diff or front diff I don't know how many times on that, because you still have the 9.5 axles on that thing, right?
Yeah, that has probably been. I know I used every good one that Dan had, in the boneyard throughout the years, and then I have to say that I've probably bought like 5 or 6 of those on top of whatever I've been able to like take from the graveyard over here. So I mean, at least 10 or more of those things. They don't hold up very well when you have the heavy foot.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just the only way to get over to the top, you know. It's tough. Trying to run with those buggies.
Steven, tell us about the Heim suit you want us to get.
Yeah, so there's this Heim thing this Heim idea I've been thinking about for advertising purposes.
For years.
For years. I want to make one of our famous salesmen, make him famous by making him wear this Heim suit. But it's been very hard to get the suit and the fitting properly on it. So
is that like the giant pickle from Mr. Pickles?
Exactly, but you would be a Heim. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And you would just be shaking around, you know, maybe some misalignments.
Yeah, so far no one's been convinced yet.
No, it's definitely going to have to be like some sort of punishment. But nowadays with workplace practices and things like that, I'm sure it's frowned upon. Yeah. So it might be the one that never makes it.
Okay. So one of our Instagram followers messaged us. He's at Brandon_Miller_prep, and he wants to know what the hell is the story behind the asphalt.
I've asked that for years and I get no response.
Just to preface it, these are our limit straps we used to sell.
Yes.
And each one had a patch on it that said asphalt. And we never explained to anybody why.
I bought a set. I think
we sold them for a long time.
I sold a set when I was doing my 3-link. I sold a set. I was like, "Here, dude, you could take everything."
Yeah, I think we still have some of those, but I have no idea. I think that the person we were buying them from was just trying to be
clever.
Trying to be clever, but I'm not really sure how. It's a catchy name, kind of, I guess.
Yeah,
I just love like a post. I saw a post on like Elrod's Pro Straps thing talking about like asshole straps or something, and then like in parentheses it was the asphalt ones. It was pretty funny. But,
funny.
Our straps aren't that bad, But
I was telling Daniel Vance, I think about those straps, and he said his friends were like buying them just because they were asphalt.
See,
maybe we need to bring them back. Yeah. Maybe they're legendary.
I mean, he had a whole other line of stuff. He had seats too, but I don't know if I want my ass in an asphalt seat. And maybe that's probably what it was the seats were probably the originator of this. That weird name.
Just a weird way to brand a product.
It's a great conversation starter for sure, though. I mean, if someone's checking that out, they're like, asphalt, what's that all about? And you're just like, I don't know. Price was right.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Well, I hope we answered Brandon's question.
Yeah,
we did the best we could.
Let you down, bud.
Totally. So we want to talk about a new product we're going to feature, and I previously spoke to you about these single shock trailing arms. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about those? Well,
it is definitely going to be an awesome product for anyone linking the back of like a Jeep or a shorter wheelbase vehicle. The traditional dual shock ones that we have are great, but they don't always fit in tight spots. So this is definitely the answer to all those problems. We actually just had a set welded up today, a prototype set that looks flawless. And we'll be testing them soon, and hopefully we can get them out to you guys as soon as possible. So the dual shock ones are 48 inches, right? Yes. And then the
or known as the URC.
Mm-hmm. And then these ones
are 40 inches eye to eye.
Yeah, 40 inches.
Are there any applications that these would not work for that you would want to use our URC?
I mean, it's kind of just personal preference because, I mean, everyone builds things differently. But generally speaking, I mean, if you were going to be doing something that is going to be a longer wheelbase, I mean, something you're going to be using to go fast, it might be good. Maybe like a rock bouncer would probably be better suited with the single shock trailing arms. But, I mean, who knows with the way things are laid out these days. But, I mean, to be honest, I would think that the single shock one is probably going to be very popular. Okay. I mean, definitely cheaper and easier to use.
Okay, not so many parts?
No, well, less parts, and the big thing about the parts is the shock you're not having to buy. This extra set of bypasses. I mean, they're cool to have, but not everybody needs them. Yeah, and that 40 inches will fit a lot easier. 4 feet's pretty long. Yeah, so for sure. I think it would be better on like a truck or something, but I mean, not everybody's doing trucks these days with all the cool things on the market. So
we hope to have those probably end of September, early October. You should hopefully be able to check them out under our new products category.
Yes.
Awesome. So we have a secret new product in the works we wanted to chat about. It is the Dodge steering kits. And possibly we were going to do control arms as well. What do you know about those?
Well, the steering kits right now, we're just trying to get everything hammered out, working on some designs and things, but we realized that there were some problems in some of the newer market with the Dodges and even Fords possibly in the future. But, right now we're hoping to offer some kits for the 10 and up. And we're also working on a kit for the later models as well, but most likely the newer stuff will come to follow, or will come first.
Awesome. Okay.
Do you need somebody to test them?
We always need someone to test them. Is that something you can put on your Dodge? Or you plan to?
No, probably not, because if we're gonna do the steering, my truck is probably too new for it. I mean, we could test it on there.
Not to brag, but it's too new.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's still under warranty, so I don't really want to take stuff off of it.
Totally.
But I mean, it would definitely work on that. The arms that could be in the future won't be for that truck. They'll be for the older style. So the famed 04.5. That would be that style one would be pretty popular. The upper and lower ones instead of the trailing arm style like the newer Dodges. So
cool.
Yeah,
all right.
Be a few things.
So we got an off-road tip of the week from our warehouse manager, Cody. He says, take your time, don't rush through. That's how you break things, and make sure you always bring extra water and food. Can you guys elaborate on that? Do you have any personal experiences where you've just smashed through and regret it?
I mean, you kind of know what's going to break, so you kind of just try to bring that stuff or at least have it in the truck. I mean, not one of those people that has to drive up to the trail and back, because I'd be terrified driving what I'd beat the shit out of all weekend home.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably make it probably would give you a bad time, because the whole time you'd be thinking about how you're going to drive it out, But I would always just make sure you carry spare, axles and hubs. I mean, your main important, things, maybe a rear drive line, a front drive line. I don't know. But I mean, you come prepared and just let it happen.
I don't think a tent's ever made it back from the Rubicon with me.
Really?
Yeah, it was in a million pieces, and then you just wad them up and take them home, or
can't figure out how to get it back in that damn bag.
Yeah, usually it's late night.
What about the kind that just instantly pop up and open? What's wrong with those?
You have to remember to bring them too.
Yeah,
Oh.
They seem delicate. Like if something doesn't work, then they instantly don't pop up, right?
I don't know, man. My friend Kirk, he had one of those things, and he had this cot that was perfectly fit for it.
Mm.
So it was kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind of funny. He'd be all passed out, and you just go push it over. But I mean, that's about the only thing I remember about those. But it was pretty neat because he would just pop his little bungee cord thing and throw it up in the air, and it would land, assembled. And
it's
everyone
just
else
instant.
yeah. So it was cool, but not cool when someone pushes you over, I guess.
Yeah.
But you should expect that when you show up with gear like that, I mean, someone's bound to mess with you.
Well, now you don't have to worry about it because you can just get an Overland tent.
Yeah.
And then you just take that everywhere with you.
Tough stuff for the win, man. That Delta tent is amazing. And it'll fit on just about anything.
Do you think overlanding is something you might get into? You have a family.
I'm not really sure because all the places that we go, we kind of day trip.
Okay.
But I mean, if there was places that we'd like to go to that, required some extended stays like that, I would probably be all about it. But, day trips to the Rubicon and Fordyce, I mean, definitely don't need a tent for that. But hey, I mean, some of the other knickknacks that the Overland crowd has is pretty amazing.
Yeah, they even have the Tough Stuff has that canopy.
The canopy is legit.
It's
that
only
thing
a couple
has,
$100, I think, too.
It's got uses for everything.
Yeah, those are pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to, I could see people using those on trailers, you name it, Jeeps. Mm-hmm. I mean, pretty much anything. So
those are just the retractable canopies, right?
Yeah,
they're kind of like a whiteboard kind of.
Pretty much, yeah. I've seen quite a few of them now. People are putting them on the back of their truck, where the camper shell and everything is. You drop the tailgate, you put that out. There's some pretty cool stuff that, I mean, those guys, they definitely have some style. But
if you want the hookup, I know a guy who does purchasing for them.
Maybe get a sweet deal.
Yeah. So we have a product review we wanted to read. You want me to read it? It's from Sam Prince from Facebook. He says, I give Ruffstuff Specialties 5 stars because I couldn't tell what was stronger, the box they packaged the diff covers in or the actual diff covers. Turns out the diff covers are pure, 100% American beef. Even the UPS person was having trouble carrying them. I always feel bad for those shipping people. How did you guys get parts in the Rancho shop? Did Dan give you the box and you packaged them? Did he package them up?
No, you were lucky to get the UPS box or the USPS box back then, the flat rate box. That was the
Yeah, there was definitely, if you were walking, there was definitely no boxes.
You had to hand carry
Yeah,
all your
for sure.
oily, dirty parts.
Yeah, for real. You would just kind of make a couple trips and just, hope that they didn't have a nice car you were putting the parts in.
Now we're generous enough to give our walk-ins a box.
Yeah,
Nothing but the best.
the free boxes.
The
that come
free
from-
box.
yeah.
Dan can spare the
Those
free
priority
boxes.
boxes are pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Garrett, you want to talk about the upcoming events?
Yeah. So we got the event happening September 28th and 29th is the Pomona Off-Road Expo. So we will have a booth there as always. We're right at the front gate. A couple booths in, like on the left-hand side. Yeah, it's pretty hard to miss us. And Darren Parsons, he has a new XJ that's going to be there. It's pretty sweet. It's kind of like a pre-runner style XJ. And then one of our customers, Lincoln, he's actually been there before. Have you guys seen that 4Runner that he has?
Yeah.
Lincoln?
Yeah, actually, that 4Runner is it's pretty awesome, and it definitely will turn some heads.
It's a V8.
Yeah, he did a lot of work to it. I remember, God, he's had that thing for probably at least 10 years. I remember seeing him driving it around on the street, and then all of a sudden you see it with a V8 and, trailing arms and all kinds of stuff. And
Yeah, he's got like bypass shocks and all kinds of stuff
party.
done. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's definitely fun to go make. He's fun to go make runs in with on the trail for sure.
Yeah.
We can do some mean time trials.
And then we might have Stuart's Bronco down there. Stuart was on the second podcast, and he's been there before with us too. But a Bronco's pretty sweet. It's old school Bronco, 70s. And
Isn't he running one of our housings too?
he does. He has the 9-inch rear and a bunch of other parts that we have there.
Signature product.
Yep. And then we also, obviously, the Expo is like one of the events that we sell at. So if you're down there, come by, get a deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we want everybody to email us with comments at podcast@ruffstuffspecialties.com, or you can DM us on Facebook, Instagram, and you can always use coupon code RuffStuffPodcast for 10% off your order at any time. Thanks, guys, for coming out.
Thanks for having
We
us.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Right on. Adios.
Toodles.